Welcome back, guys. It's been a long time since I last uploaded my last video, but today we're gonna continue. I'm gonna talk today about AI agents. I'm gonna give an introduction. I'm gonna give an overview, some of the use cases, what are autonomous agents. Also, I'm gonna explain and cite and quote what experts are saying about these agents, the skills needed to start building them, and some platforms that are available, no code platforms and also code platforms. So let's get started. Imagine this scenario if you can. It's the end of the month, the time where you typically plan your week, events, and business trips. Suddenly you realize that you have an incoming flight to Silicon Valley, or however you want to prefer to name it. But there's an issue, or what I would describe as a distracting thought. This is that you will be so preoccupied on the flight that you will scarcely have time to manage all your online businesses, check your emails, feed your cat, or perform any other tasks. But then you remember Healy, an autonomous AI agent that a friend built for you, capable of handling all these mundane tasks on your behalf. This allows you to concentrate on the trip and make the most of it without any distraction. So you decide to take a risk and try it out for the first time. Nonetheless, you bring along all the necessary equipment just in case something goes wrong with Healy. All that just remains for you is to list all the routine tasks that you typically perform and hand them over to Healy. Once you delegate all these tasks to Healy, you feel free to enjoy your trip. Once you get home, you immediately inquire about Healy's activity during your absence. Healy has been working diligently while you were away. It has answered 200 emails, has responded 100 customer service complaints, and have sent reminders to your pet sitters to feed your cat at the recommended times. Healy accomplished all this during your busy trip, leading you to recognize the potential of this agent. You decide to seek further information from your friend and explore other areas that might be or could be optimized and automated. This enables you to allocate more time for creative tasks and innovations, as well as to reposition your employees in new roles. Now, it seems that many people are either unaware or they may be ignoring these agents because I see that many people don't even know what they are about. And it's very important that we start getting ready for what is coming because everything is gonna go on that way on AI agents. But first, I want to show you some use cases that I have found that are very interesting so you can get like a scope of what you can get done with AI agents. So let me show you these use cases. First, let's begin with an easy task like tweeting or setting up a Gmail meeting. And I found this use case by Radat Mersu, who uses a no-code platform called Multion to perform different actions. Let's watch the following 2-minute videos.
So let's say make a tweet about Multion. Let's click on do it. Then it will start detailing what it's going to do and how the large language model is basically gonna interpret what I asked it to do. And then it will take over my screen basically.
I'm typing a tweet about Multion and posting it on Twitter.
So it took over my screen and it basically tweeted it and then it has finished. So as far as simple actions, it is perfectly working. If we ask it to go ahead and do something else like book a Gmail meeting with myself tomorrow. So it's like I'm setting a reminder, but I don't want to send this to anyone, so it just see what's gonna do. So it navigates its calendar, then meeting with myself, and today is the 13th, tomorrow is the 14th, so it has been able to do it.
I am filling in the event details to book a meeting with the user for tomorrow, including the event title, date, start, and end times, adding the user's email as I'm clicking the send button to send the invitation emails to the Google Calendar guests, which includes the user as the meeting is with themselves.
So it has finished. So as far as actions that require only 1 or 2 steps, it has no problem.
Let's move on to medium level tasks, still using a no-code platform.
Okay, booking flights and hotels is another thing that this assistant can help you with. You want to let it know where you want to go, how long you want to stay, and other preferences, and it will search for flights for you. It seems pretty good at finding flights at the best price, so that's awesome. I usually spend hours and hours just to find the best flights, so this might be able to cut that time a little bit. If you travel a lot, this could be useful. After finding your flights and hotels, you could have it create an itinerary for you, which is nice to have. For example, you can browse the internet to find fun things or places to go and then add them to your calendar app. I think it could be useful for people who are busy and don't have time to plan their trips.
And finally, let's take a look at some more complex tasks that usually requires a team, days, or more functions. This credit goes to Wes Fraught, who introduced me for the first time to what is called Chat Dev, an AI teams of developers capable of building different apps.
Here's a project called Chat Dev. Here you have an office of workers that create software applications, but this can be applied to much more, as you'll see in just a second. Each is powered by its own AI agent, so like you can think of each one as a separate ChatGPT. The people are split into departments: development, coding, testing, documenting. You have a CEO, you have a CTO, Chief Technology Officer, and various other positions. You give them a broad task to develop an app or a game or whatever script you might need, and they go to work making that come true. They discuss, they debate, they plan, then they code, they test, and they document the results. I've tested this locally on my computer, and I gotta say, it blew me away just a little bit. I was able to create things like Flappy Bird, things like a snake game. I was able to create a simple game calculator. So if I'm playing Scrabble with friends and family, we can keep track of how long everyone's taking. To put a limit on the total amount of time that you can take to play the entire game. I've seen the things that other people were able to do, like tic-tac-toe, a roguelite game, and various other things, including calculators, browsers, to-do list, ping pong, music player, video player, MS Paint. All these were created with fairly simple prompts. At one point, I watched this software run into an issue creating some sort of a graphical interface for a game. It kept running into an issue, and the testing department would kick it back to the coding department again and again and again. I saw the terminal on my computer would launch up certain little applications, this little visualization to test what it was doing. I saw it actually launch that app, but it kept kicking it back into coding. And I saw this happen a few times. There was a few iterations, and each time they were saying, hey, something's up, keep testing it. The CTO, the Chief Technology Officer, went, hey, we need to make sure this is working. The client said this needs to work. And I thought it was stuck in a doom loop where basically you just wouldn't get out of it. But after 3 or 4 iterations, it freaking solved the problem, and it moved on to the next thing. Sitting at home in front of my computer, watching this thing, try different ideas, iterate, solve bugs, and almost work as a team, because it did. The multiple departments, the CTO that was kind of on top of everybody, kind of controlling the situation. It looked very much like a team of people, an office of developers that were working together to solve these problems. It felt surreal. And at the end, you do get a fully working code, right? It tells you how to launch it. When you launch it, the window just pops up and you have a ready-made game or the ready-made app, whatever it is that you want. You can play Flappy Bird. You can calculate your BMI and feel terrible about yourself, all in seconds. One other thing that was really stunning is that this is done with GPT 3.5 Turbo. After trying to develop a bunch of these applications and not really keeping track of how much API usage it was, for a second I thought I may never financially recover from this. But after logging into OpenAI and seeing my API usage, it was like 42 cents. Each one of these apps cost sometimes 4 cents to make, sometimes 8 cents, because we're using GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is the faster, cheaper, but like less intelligent model. You generally don't see people using that for coding tasks. Now, some of the apps that were developed, once I launched them, I didn't fully really get how to play them or how to run it. But here's the thing. In that folder that they create as part of the completion process, they do have a manual. They have documentation. Again, they have a whole documenting department. They have a documentation team that at the end of this whole process creates a manual that spells out step by step how to use the application, how to play that game. Tells you what buttons to use. In the roguelike, for example, it says WASD to move around. That explains to you the rules of the game, the hit point system, and what the different tile colors mean, etc. And that's just the default mode. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, you can go much, much deeper. For example, you can switch this into a art development studio, a graphics design studio, where instead of putting out code, they're putting out graphics. Or you can, for example, go in and make this into a content developing studio, which is one thing that I'm going to be working on next. I want to test the viability of it. Is it possible for them to develop some simple content about something where there's a lot of information available? Like, could they run a Twitter account about fitness? Could they create a newsletter that summarized the latest stock news, economy, etc.? My idea is to set up like almost a content marketing department. So let's say you have like an e-commerce business and you want to build a larger social media presence. You spin this thing up or something similar to it, right? And the first department will be your competition research. Their task will be finding other businesses like yours and seeing what's working for them. Department 2 is going to be the writers. They're going to try to create similar content with the example content that that first department provided. The next department is in charge of posting it. They'll have some sort of connection to your Instagram, to your Twitter, etc. You teach them to take the content, to post it on all the various sources online, and then collect the data, the results from everything, and post it into some internal document so that everyone inside that company can see the KPIs, the key performance indicators. So the next department is the analytics department. They look at the results of the KPIs and they try to figure out which posts are driving the engagement, the sales, the growth. Then they're going to report back the findings to the writers and the social media posters. They're going to specify which content works at which specific platforms, which content tends to drive the most sales. They might say something like, on Instagram, images of the female posterior tends to drive sales of our pre-workout powder in males aged 18 to 32.
Quite impressive, right? Now, let me share the last video in which a YouTuber, which is called All About AI, creates some writing agents using code and ChatGPT. And these writing agents are quite impressive. Take a look.
The next assignment I want to give to Miss Writer is write a 500-word blog post about AutoGPT. I want this to be in first-person view, so share your thoughts and emotions about this AI system. I want to give AutoGPT some context here because it really doesn't know anything about that. So I went to a few websites, I just found some information, I picked some article stuff here, just picked it and pasted it in behind here in context. And let's see what the writer and the editor can get out of this. So again, the writer-editor synergy works perfectly well here. So it's not the best blog post. I kind of should have given it some more context when I read this. But again, the editor does his thing. It comes up with critiques all over the place.
Those are some few videos and few use cases that I have found of different things that have been done with AI agents. Let's take a break and let's define what autonomous agents are, because it's quite important that we understand what they are so we can use them accordingly. According to T. Bowser, autonomous agents are software programs that respond to states and events in their environment, independent from direct instruction by the user or owner of the agent, but they act on behalf of the interests of the owner. In other words, an AI agent is like a trained dog. Basically, you can train them to perform different tasks, make decisions, and act accordingly without needing direct instruction or moment-to-moment instructions from you. So once it's trained or once it's set, it can pretty much do it by itself. This is the power of autonomous AI agents. What are experts saying about AI agents? Recently, Andrew, the co-founder of Google Brain and Coursera, as well as the former professor at Stanford University, where he led the Stanford Artificial Intelligence Laboratory spoke at Sequoia Capital about AI agents and the reasoning patterns and designs that these agents have. Let's listen together to this introduction because I highly encourage you to watch it all. And also take notes of the materials and the readings that he recommends if you really want to know more about AI agents and how they work.
So anyway, Andrew.
Thank you, Hansin. Looking forward to sharing with all of you what I'm seeing with AI agents, which I think is an exciting trend that I think everyone building in AI should pay attention to. And then also excited about all the other what's next presentations. So AI agents, today the way most of us use large language models is like this, with a non-agentic workflow where you type a prompt and generates an answer. And that's a bit like if you ask a person to write an essay on a topic, and I say, please sit down at the keyboard and just type the essay from start to finish without ever using backspace. And despite how hard this is, LLMs do it remarkably well. In contrast, with an agentic workflow, this is what it may look like. Have an AI, have an LLM, say, write an essay outline. Do you need to do any web research? If so, let's do that. Then write a first draft, and then read your own first draft and think about what parts need revision, and then revise your draft, and you go on and on. And so this workflow is much more iterative, where you may have the LLM do some thinking, and then revise this article, and then do some more thinking and iterate this through a number of times. And what not many people appreciate is this delivers remarkably better results. I've actually really surprised myself working these agent workflows.
Now, what are the skills that we need to start building these AI agents? I want to break down some of the skills that we need because it's not just one skill. We need a set of skills in order to start building these AI agents. But first, I want to highlight, don't just take my opinion on this matter because we're still very early in this process of AI agents, and all of us and all people who is speaking about AI agents, they're still figuring out the set of skills that we really need in order to start building these AI agents. The first skill I would say that is to know the foundation, like the basis, the foundational knowledge. Because AI is not a new concept. In fact, the birth of AI is considered to be between 1950 and 1956, which is quite impressive. And we need to know about fathers of AI like Alan Turing and different books and articles that they publish about AI. Our second skill would be coding. Many people believe that AGI will be built using Python. However, some argue that it will be different, like Elon Musk, who believes that it's going to be built using Rust. Additionally, some individuals, or there has been like a rumor that we might no longer need to code in the future because of what the president of NVIDIA said, that maybe coding will not remain as relevant as before.
Almost everybody who sits on a stage like this would tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program, and that the programming language is human. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is the miracle. This is the miracle of artificial intelligence.
But despite these options, I think that coding still plays a crucial role in understanding AI better, especially when it comes to prompting, because if you are familiar with the terms, you will clearly have an advantage if you know how to code over those that don't know how to code. Therefore, at least start learning Python and the basis of coding. Prompt engineering, that will be like the third skill that we need to know. Learning how to prompt is crucial, and especially nowadays that this is the way that we communicate with AI, because that's how we talk right now with AI. And if you don't know how to prompt effectively, you won't get the results that you're looking for. Imagine that you're in the forest, right? And all that you have is just a smart map. Now, you want to explore this forest, But since it's your first time being there, you need to talk to this smart map, that in this case would be like a ChatGPT or an other large language model. And if you say to the smart map, take me to somewhere fun, the map might lead you to a beautiful waterfall or a different place. But fun for the smart map might be something different to you. So you need to be very exact with your words, and you need to know what you're asking for so you can get the output that you are looking for. Another skill that I think that is quite important is training models. When I refer to training models, I mean acquiring a fundamental or basic knowledge of machine learning. Because if you understand the basis of it, it will help you do things faster. Maybe you can start trying out different models. There are many models right now. There are many large language models that can perform different tasks. For example, you can try out Stable Diffusion. Try to download it. Try to do different things with large language models. You don't need to be an expert. Now, let's talk about the platforms that are available, or at least the platforms that I know that are available to you to do AI agents. I want to speak about no-code platforms and code platforms. First, we have the no-code platform called Multion. Multion is a web AI agent that can automate tasks using natural languages, and it features a very user-friendly interface. It excels at performing web actions. Instead of manually interacting with websites or searching for information online, the Multion agent is fully automated in web browsing tasks. Second, we have AutoGPT, AgentGPT, and God Mode. AutoGPT is an open source application created by developer Toran Bruce Richards. It utilizes OpenAI large language model GPT-4 to automate the execution of multi-step projects that would have otherwise required a back and forth prompting. And instead, they work directly with GPT-4. In simpler terms, or in other words, AutoGPT is an AI agent that prompts itself until it completes the given task. You can instruct that agent to perform certain action, and it will try to figure it out how to do it or how to accomplish it through research and reasoning. So it will prompt itself until it gives you the best answer. If you want to use it, you will need to download this agent locally. However, there is a web-based alternative called AgentGPT, which is similar to AutoGPT but does not require any technical knowledge, so it's very easy to set up. And also there is another similar tool called God Mode, which is also available for online web-based interface, so it's quite similar. Third, we have Crew AI. Crew AI is a Python framework designed to orchestrate role-playing autonomous AI agent. Now let's take a break. I'm sure that a lot of you already have heard about Crew AI because there's a lot of videos about it and there's a lot of use cases, and I think that people like it so much. But the good thing with Crew AI, and the reason why I think that people like it so much, is because it's like you building different personas. You can give them a role, you can share a goal with them, you can give them an objective, and they all operate as a unit, as a team, as a crew. And this framework facilitates a sophisticated interaction between multiple agents, allowing them to collaborate on complex tasks by leveraging their individual strengths and capabilities. Imagine that you're gonna play a video game, or that you're gonna build your team, right? And as a team, you need different people. One needs to be a warrior, one needs to be a healer, one needs to be an strategist, one needs to be helping out with different things. So each of them have like a role. All of them have like a specific job. But even though they have a role or a job, they have a common objective, and they all work as a team together. And they coordinate their actions in order to win the game. That's basically what you and do with Creo AI, because you can build different personas. Lastly, we have AutoGen. AutoGen is a framework developed by Microsoft Research that pretty much simplifies the creation of multi-AI agent systems. It's designed so it enables the coordination of networks and facilitates the building of systems where AI agents can collaborate together. But I would say that is somewhat similar to Creo AI. The main difference that I observe is that it has more users, so therefore you can find more like educational materials and tons of use cases, which are quite important. So guys, this will be all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, share with your friends, subscribe, because I'm gonna start speaking more about AI agents. I'm gonna build some tools. I'm gonna maybe do live videos with you guys on how to build different tools. But get started with AI agents and let me know how it's going.